All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on Radio Road. Darren Smith with you, host of The Ship on Fox Sports Radio, KLKC 106.7 FM and 1540 AM. Now, for those of you all who, yeah, I know you're looking at this guy next to me, you're like, okay, he looks familiar. Now, we were talking about this before we came on the air that, we're kind of dating ourselves. But if you watch the Ultimate Fighting Championships, of course, when they did oh gosh, see, I done dated myself. What was the name of
The Ultimate Fighter Show.
The Ultimate Fighter Show. He wasn't in the first season. He was in the second one, 2005. The winner, of course, Mr. Rashad Evans, who's going to be fighting on April 8th against Quentin Rampage Jackson. So, first of all, thank you so very much for gracing me with your time and our audience. Talk to me about the fight that you got coming up.
It's a grudge match. It's been something that's been in the making for a while. Me and Rampage have been, we've kind of mended things since we fought each other, but the competition and the competitiveness between us, it remains. So, we kind of talked about doing something like this because he was supposed to fight Shannon Briggs, and then he was in good shape. And then, I was on his podcast, and he was like, we should get it in. And
yeah,
like,
I saw y'all going at each other.
Say less. So we decided to fight. So it's in April. The date isn't yet determined, but it's going to be sometime most likely mid to late April.
But why Rampage? I mean, look, this is literally 20 years since you won the competition. So, we're not exactly spring chickens like we were back then. But why Rampage?
Well, it's a fun competition, and here's the thing about it. We're at the same level, and there's still some bad blood between us in the sense that, when we talk about our fight, all he talks about is, oh man, yeah, Rashad wrestled me and all that. So I'm like, you know what? Let's box. Let's not do any MMA. We'll just go to the gloves and we'll get a boxing in. So, and here's the thing about it. We're both enjoying the fact that, we still are physically fit. We still are pretty good. And we still can compete. So we want to compete against each other and see where that leads.
Our audience who may not be familiar with your background, again, when you won the competition, what was the lineage of Rashad Evans before getting into the UFC?
Well, before, it was a lot of underground fights. Sometimes I fought in these smoker shows and things like that, and I'll fight 2 or 3 guys in one night. And it was a lot of tournament style kind of activity. So I'll fight 2 or 3 guys in one night. And then I got an opportunity through one of my mentors, Dan Severin, a legend in the game, who had an opportunity to have one of his fighters to try out. So that was my birth into the Ultimate Fighter Show. And then from there, that's when I got on the big stage. But back then, people weren't thinking that you can make a living in mixed martial arts because at the time it was still kind of NHB, no holds bar, and that's before the UFC went and they made it sanctioned in every state. But before then, it was kind of like an underground thing here in America. And then, going after the Ultimate Fighter Show, things kind of blew up.
What was and of course, Rashad Evans was won the UFC light heavyweight championship back in 2008, and of course, congratulations, you are a UFC Hall of Famer. So I want to make sure that I put that out there for the people. What would you say your toughest fight had been? Because for a while you were undefeated. I was like, this man's finna run through everybody. And look, I watched every episode when you were on the Ultimate Fighter when you won that. So, what would you say has been your toughest competition or your toughest fight to date?
Well, my toughest competition has always been,
the next fight.
No, like my biggest challenge has always been myself, as far as mentally bringing myself there. But I'm saying, as far as a fighter, I would say John Jones, man. John Jones, he brought a unique set of skills. He's a very creative fighter. He has some physical attributes that make him hard to deal with. And he's got a mindset for a fighter. John is one of those athletes who are just not only a great athlete, but when it comes to showing up on fight day, performing under the lights, he has that. He has his belief in himself that has propelled him to be what he is today. He's really never lost a fight. The one fight that he did lose, it was a disqualification, and that was due more to the referee error than what he, of course he did something wrong, but it was due to more of a technicality than him actually losing a fight. So he's virtually undefeated, and he was my toughest guy I fought.
I've got to ask this question because I look at, I grew up on pro wrestling as well, but what makes a collegiate amateur and to an extent, an Olympic wrestler makes the transition. It seems a little bit more seamlessly easy to ultimate fighting than than maybe other maybe Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, other fighting techniques. The transition to crossover like that.
Well, in mixed martial arts, there's so many different martial arts that's in it. You have kickboxing, you have grappling, you have boxing, and all these different facets, all these different martial arts. Wrestling is the glue. At some point, a fight breaks down, and once the fight happens, you're going to be in a wrestling situation. So if you're really good at wrestling, you're able to then maybe, most likely, stream in and take advantage of opportunities. And if you're a really good wrestler, then you can take a guy who has really good stand up, take him to the ground for a while, wrestle him for a little bit, and then when he get back up to his feet, he's a fraction of the fighter that he was before he got taken down. And that's because of how taxing it is to be on the ground. So that's why you see these wrestlers do so good when they come to the mixed martial arts.
Is that what you think that helped you with the great success that you had in the UFC?
Yeah, it was one of those things that gave me the success that I had. Wrestling was the thing that I leaned on a lot. And back then, wrestling wasn't as developed as it was as far as like the average fighter. We were still kind of breaking out of the one discipline, one fighter. We started having some great athletes that really had good transitional mixed martial arts, but people are still discipline based. And you have guys who really had no wrestling at all. So I would take advantage of it when I had a guy that didn't really have any wrestling. And because such, I was able to propel myself. But it's the mindset that also comes with wrestling too.
Yeah.
And wrestling, there's so much humility and so much humbleness that happens along the way of just being an athlete, because you're winning and you're losing. And when you lose, it's a very humbling experience. So you learn to not buy into what your accolades are, because at any given match you could lose. So it kind of keeps you humble, and that humbleness is what kind of instills that drive, so that way you become successful.
We're joined by we're joined by Rashad Evans, a former UFC fighter. Now, is this going to be a UFC sanctioned fighter? Or
no, this is going to be boxing.
Okay, so boxing. Straight up boxing.
Yeah, nothing to do with UFC.
I want to get your thoughts on this weekend's game, because I know you're a sports guy.
Yeah.
So I'm from Kansas City. So choose your words carefully.
Well,
because I don't want to grapple you. I
got a few choice words for you, Mr. Kansas City.
Okay.
Listen.
So that being said, give me your thoughts on Sunday's game.
Well,
between the Chiefs and Eagles.
I'm gonna give you the thoughts on last week's game with Buffalo Bills when you guys cheated. Okay. The cheating.
Get it off your chest. Get it off your chest.
The first down that should have happened. Okay.
It didn't happen.
Because of reps.
No. He didn't make it. Well, look, the official said he didn't make it, so he didn't make it.
Okay, listen, no sour grapes for me. Here's one thing about being a Buffalo Bills fan. We're used to being in this position. All right. So I understand.
I'm so sorry for you, man.
You know what? Hey, it's part of it. That's the labor of love sometimes. Sometimes you got to be able to ride with a team no matter what.
You're kind of like a Cleveland Browns fan. You just can't accept that, you just can't accept.
No, but as far as Sunday's game, as great as good as Philly is, and the problems that they present with Saquon and just their total,
here's going to be a problem.
Yeah, the total game. I just feel like the Chiefs know how to win, and knowing how to win is an art form in itself. It's something that just the team clicks in at another time, another level when it's that time to step up, and it's like every single person just know what to do, and I feel like that's very hard to beat. And also, I mean, you guys got Taylor Swift on your side, so I don't see.
Haters gonna hate.
I don't see anybody.
But I ain't mad at you, because look, Taylor Swift, she could be the difference maker. You know what I'm saying? Roger Goodell made that call, like, we don't want to see her crying. We don't want Swifties coming after us. Throw the flag. So the fight's gonna be in April. Do you have a location?
Yeah, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's return home for me as far as training is concerned, because when I first started off my fighting career from the Ultimate Fighter show, I started training in Albuquerque, New Mexico with Team Jackson and Keith Jardine and Joey Villasenor and Mike Winklejohn and those guys.
I normally ask this for boxers, and so I'll ask you this because before I let you go. Why? Because you're picking an industry, or you're picking a sport that requires you to probably get punched in the face, punched in the head. That's what I ask boxers. Why?
I enjoy it. There's nothing like the thrill. Like to me, to live is to have that thrill, to have that feeling, to face that the doubt, to face that feeling that happens when you don't know what's going to happen, right? And none of us getting out of here alive. So
Rashad, man, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so very much. Is this your first time on Radio Row?
I've been here a couple years ago.
Okay. How do you take it in? What do you know? What's your normal week?
I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it because the interviews are fun. The energy is cool. You meet a lot of different people, and it just kind of like the celebration before the celebration. To me, this is the funnest part of the Super Bowl week.
Hopefully, we get a chance to get you to come to Kansas City and do some fighting and feed you some Gates barbecue as well.
Okay, I'm with that.
All right, Rashad Evans joining us on Radio Row. Thank you so very much. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, Darren.
And don't hurt Quentin too bad.
No,
not too bad. I'm saying bad, but
okay,
not too bad.
Okay, not too bad. I got you.
Yeah, we got do it for the culture, but we still need them.
I feel you.
All right, we'll be back after this time. Thank you so much for your time.